Hey everyone, Miss Janine here. Most of you did the career development 1 and 2 fabulously. A small number did not. Some totally, I don't know what happened. I've been sick. I'm still sick. I did get a chest x-ray this morning at the VA hospital and some antibiotics, so hopefully the antibiotics will kick in soon. So let's try to, I'm just going to do this real quick. It's not going to be pretty or perfect. Again, I have not taught this before either. So when I was traveling trying to read these things on a laptop, it's much more difficult than when I'm at my desk, which I am now, and can use the dual screens. Because, and I'm telling you, if you're going to keep going to school, you don't have the dual monitors, get another monitor. It will be a lifesaver for you, because what I can do then is bounce back and forth, and that's how I grade your homework and the resumes and things. I have them on a bigger monitor. So, okay, we're looking at what you got to do. and I've done some of the checking ins, and I agree, there is a lot of homework. It is very overwhelming, and I know if it's overwhelming for you, picture me trying to grade 23 of each of these. It is very overwhelming for me too to provide the quality of feedback that I want to provide. So that's why things have been going slower, on top of me not being well. So let's see, you're going to submit detailed instructions. We click on the rubric. Let's see what it's got. And I'm opening it, so it's going to pop on my other screen, and we'll see what it shows, and I can pop it back over into here. So hopefully you've all looked at, I'm going to put it over here. Whoops, if I can. All right. You got 4 parts of this. The outcomes. So part 1, you're going to prepare a career narrative report identifying the skills and knowledge needed in your profession. Again, this is where ONET really comes in, even though this was before the session on ONET. But doing a job search, looking at job announcements, things we've talked about. You'll do a professional action plan report. And I got to tell you, some of you went very in detail, and I'm just very proud of you. You're going to have a document that will serve you throughout your academic career. It will be and even when you're in your profession. So it says here, assessment part 1. So it's guiding you through these steps. And I guess if you skip one, you're going to be missing the boat. And that's why I really encourage some that ask me questions. I know they thought I was being rude when I said, I'm sorry, reach out to your peers. Even right now, I'm not seeing where they got the beautiful charts they created and how they did that. So just as if you were in a classroom asking for guidance, I encourage you to do the same. So we've got the directions. You got education and networking, career specific, and professional skills. Now these 3 come into one of the questions it's asked. See, and then you have to have goal statements. For each of the 6 knowledge and skills areas you identified, you need goal statements. Again, that's where I encourage you to work with each other. Some of the goal statements, like on communication, I want to be able to work better in groups, or I would like to be able to improve my, I can't even talk, sorry guys. It's going to be very situational to each. It's going to be very personal. So these goal statements, okay, I'm thinking for myself, when I was where you all are, public speaking terrified me. So for the communication, one of my goals would have been to be comfortable standing up and talking to a classroom of students or my peers, giving presentations. Maybe another for communication is being better, and I think somebody might have said this, being able, they knew going into their career that being able to read verbal and nonverbal communication was going to be a key element in their success. So they were going to maybe read books or just start reading more on learning more on nonverbal communication. So again, you've got in your chart, or however you're going to work this, most people did a chart. You're going to, again, come up with at least one knowledge or skill for each of these three categories. These are your categories. Sorry, I'm messing this up. Then you're going to have, for each of the 6 knowledges and skills you identified, you're going to have goal statements. So I'm and again, look at the grading rubric. Okay, well, look, here we go. Right here is what I was saying I didn't know. Because I think the first one I graded didn't have this, but then somebody else had this, and I'm like, oh, I'm finally getting it. So, knowledge needed, which you're just going to check the block. Which of these 3? You're always going to have something checked. And then over here, your goal statement. And then this is the grading rubric. Now, I'll be honest, if you hit the main wickets with this, I gave you 100. And if you didn't get the 100, I think there was maybe only 1 or 2 people that didn't get the full 100. It might have been a word count thing. But if it was going to be a failing grade, that's when I sent it back to you to go into this. So it's all right here. And if you're still unclear, I'm not understanding, and I'm not trying to be rude with that. So again, reach out to your peers. Most got it correct. And I did send out an announcement earlier saying, please check the Ask Your Instructor. A couple of people have reached out because I said, I was too sick yesterday to figure this out even. I mean, quite honestly, when I was getting a text late at night, I was already loopy on cold medicine and wasn't thinking coherently. So this is for the career development part 1. So I'm going to X out. Now part 2. Part 2 is really fun. So it's got a template. And I think most people did pretty good with this, or I think if you left it blank and I kicked it back, I would have probably done the same thing because this is also very overwhelming. And again, I do not create this. It's created by the school. It's my first time seeing it. And when I saw it on a laptop, I was like, oh my goodness. So after completing the interpersonal skills assessment, you're going to complete this chart. Excuse me. Here's where I saw most people forget section 2. You know, I recommend it being a higher thing. So write 50 to 100 word paragraph that answers these 3 questions. This one, you're just really putting a goal statement, what you want to accomplish with this. Again, if you want some guidance, ask your peers. That's what you're there for. When I was doing my master's and PhD, most of us went from our master's to the PhD program together. And I tell you what, those were friendships that were cemented. We were online, but guess what? Just like I'm sure you do, you start texting each other or chatting on, back in my day, it was Yahoo Messenger. And we'd say, hey, do you got a minute? Or we'd call each other and say, I just saw what the instructor posted. I'm going to go comment on yours. Or, we really had each other's back. And when we were totally clueless, again, we were on the phone with each other. And I know I'm pretty the rare bird who says text me, but I really do want to text. And when I tell you I'm not understanding what the problem is, I'm not trying to be mean. It's for most classes, because I've done it so many times, I'm not seeing it. But with this, some of it I can see where you're lost. That's why I gave you a second chance and didn't give you a failing grade. But when it comes to some of this, you may want to reach out to a peer and ask, well, what is resources like a mentor, a textbook, another class, another, you know, but this again is the template, and I'm going to X out because it's going to tell you up here, I'm guessing. And a lot of this, like I said, there was some, and I wish I could remember the names off the top of my head, who did these so in depth that I was very, very impressed. So again, please reach out to each other, help. I'm not trying to shirk my responsibilities. I'm truly not. There is a lot of work here. I get it. We had a holiday. Well, actually, this was before the holiday. Now we've got stuff coming up again. Just hang in there. We'll all get through it. That's why I tell some of my seated class students when I teach statistics, we will all get through it. Just do your best. That's all I ask. So I'm going to wrap it up because this is a very lengthy video. I hope this helps. For, again, most of these things, they have their own rubrics, templates. It's just, you can't go too fast. Because see, over in here, even on the reflections, it'll tell you 300 to 550 words. And I was very lenient on the word count for week 2 on almost everything, just because of the way I'm feeling. And I knew you were all overwhelmed. We're just getting into this. I know somebody in the checking in said they really wish they had a textbook. They think it would be easier with the textbook. You know, those are things I really recommend you put in your critique at the end of the course if you want a textbook. I'm learning right along with you on this, so I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to teach briefly a seated class tonight, long enough so it counts for them so they don't have to make it up, and then I'll be back. Hopefully by tomorrow these antibiotics will be in me 24 hours and I'll be feeling much better and be able to help you better. I apologize, you know. And one other thing, when I came back, I want to say there was like a handful of people who have had family emergencies last week. If it's in your heart, keep them in your prayers. It is rough to carry this type of school load plus have an emergency or be sick. And I know one of you's got a surgery coming up. And again, just keep me posted on these things. Because of how my brain is not working, I've got the grades done. I've got to go in here and I have to report people who have a low grade. That's just to do what's got to be done. But if you've emailed me what's going on, I'm going back tomorrow with a clear brain, and I will be, excuse me, I'll be actually writing it all down, and I'll be going back, and when you get work turned in, your grade will be adjusted. If you've got a documented emergency, and I do, you know, I hope I don't have to ask for the documentation, but you know, you have a true emergency, keep me in the loop, and I'm not going to count that against you. You all get I call it I don't even know if they still use the term, get out of jail free card to use. And, you know, even some people were still turning in week 1 work. I didn't count that late. So just stay in touch. I'm going to shush because now we're up to almost 15 minutes. I hope this helps. Everyone stay well. Take care of each other. Same as if you're in a classroom. Have each other's back. Be there to pull each other up. Because you know what? We all have our strengths and weaknesses. And sometimes because we're so overwhelmed, we miss the obvious that's in front of us. I do the same thing at times. It's like, oh, really? That's where it's at? Okay. Silly me. Take care of each other. You know, we're one big happy family. So I'm going to let you go. Everyone have a great afternoon, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.